This is more than an unholy amount of greed, Robert. Do you realize how good you've got it? There are men who would die to be in your position. Me being one of them. Either girl, I don't give a fuck.
Man, I know I don't usually talk games on the channel, but after playing Dispatch, I feel like that is something moving forward, at least with more narrative-based games, that I want to change and expand my channel diversity and palette a little bit. This game, to me, feels like the equivalent in a way to when the green and purple wars were happening in GTA. In any big pop culture events within the last decade, 2 decades, anything where there's been a divide, this is another one of those instances, because this is my first time really ever playing one of these choice-based games, which I did have a great time, and the full playthrough is on the second channel if y'all want to go see what I was doing in more detail. But after playing a game like this, I realized it's games like this that can bring out the worst in people and show people's true colors. Me, obviously, that wasn't the case, because as I expressed multiple times in my playthrough, I was playing through the eyes of Robert, not myself. I would obviously not make those same choices that I'm about to talk about in real life, because I'm not that type of man. And before I even get into the narrative, just the gameplay concept, like the whole dispatching thing, niggas sign me up for the FBI, CIA, NBA. It honestly doesn't even matter what acronym you want to sign me up for. Whichever one it is, I'll be the best damn dispatcher they got. At the end of every shift, when looking at the reports, you're gonna see this message next to my name, that I performed better than 100% of the players during today's shift. What I took from this was that I basically had the best episode 8 run in the game. That's how I was taking it, and that's how I'm going to continue to take it. I really was putting on a special performance. It was almost instinctual. Like, I really wasn't even thinking. I was just doing what I feel like I was meant to do, which was lead a team full of villains, now turned superheroes, leading them into saving the world, basically. And I initially wasn't going to get this game, but when I was on my trip and I saw Blonde Blazer all over my timeline in many different thumbnails, I didn't really care what you had to do in the game, what the game entailed. I just wanted to be involved with whatever she was involved in. And I sure was involved, because from the moment she set foot in front of me, when I was in my goofy little suit, it was really love at first sight, because she popped my arm back into place, but so did she also pop my heart back into place, it felt like. And I don't know how the masses were interpreting this, but as soon as she took me on that billboard and we were chopping it up, doing what we were doing, I was interpreting that as she wanted to run away to the countryside together, have 3 children, herd cattle, and grow old together. But that's how I was taking it. So obviously, if we're both slightly intoxicated, she's looking at me, the moonlight is having the waves in her ocean blue eyes on high tide. I obviously was gonna kiss her, especially with her moving close to me, taking off my mask herself, feeling up on my stubble, talking about we can work with this. Blaze, we can do a lot more than work.
You have your way with me, because I'm a slave to success. So if I'm with Blaze, breaking down the equation, therefore I'm successful. So she does what the fuck she wants with me. I don't care.
This is what, and it was pissing me off, because with these types of games, it's like I didn't realize how invested I would get into it, but I deadass felt like I was Robert, and that I was genuinely building a connection with this 6'4" stallion of a superhero. So when I leaned in for that kiss and she A, let it happen, but then B, pulled back saying that she gave the wrong impression, I was just so thrown off guard and didn't know what to do, especially then after she tells me to dispatch and then falls asleep. But she was just throwing me so many mixed signals. But obviously it's like you don't know her little twist as of yet, so maybe she's just confused and trying to keep it professional, which I got. Before getting deeper into it, I mean, the whole cast of characters, honestly, is really what made this game as special as it was, because they really helped you get invested in the voice acting, as well as the attention to detail within every single conversation. It just really helped you feel a part of the shit, and that you actually were Robert and going on this journey to find love, but to also rehabilitate these villains. And just that first shift when everyone's clowning on me, to see how that progressed it was just good stuff. But to be honest with y'all, fast forward in a little bit to when we have to decide between Coop and Sonar. If you pick Coop to stay, or should I say poop, because that's all I was smelling when she was clocked in for me. I don't know how everyone else's playthroughs went, but I think I sent her on 4 missions, came back with nothing. She was basically getting paid to go shit on the toilet. And to me, it seemed like Sonar was trying to actually like befriend people. He had quick wit, he had his issues and his quirks about him, but he wasn't hostile and like arrogant. Poop had that arrogance to her, and that's not what I wanted on this Z team. And now that I think about it, I think Blonde Blazer was the catalyst to my spiraling of toxicity and villainy in this game, at least from like a moral standpoint, right? Because after I clocked out on that Friday evening, with her still touching all up on my shoulder, golden hour saying she's really glad I'm here, and then I see her boyfriend Omni-Man pull up. So now I'm coming to the realization that she's a cheater, and that this world that we dispatch in
is just as wicked as the real life world that we walk every day of our lives. So then after seeing her do that, something was kind of ignited within me to start moving in a similar scandalous way myself. It was kind of against my will. Like, I didn't really even choose to do it. Like, it kind of just happened.
Especially when this nigga had the audacity to put his planet-sized hand on my shoulder
and start chatting about how small I was.
Not even knowing that canonically Robert is a grower in the first place. I started to get excited to ruin this relationship and wreck their home. Because you have to keep in mind, from a real life perspective, this has happened to me before, somewhat. Like relationships being ruined by third. I'm not gonna get into it. I was on the other side of the coin for once. So this was an opportunity for me to play the bad guy. Why would I squander it? So y'all enjoy your date to Tokyo. I'm not even gonna attend. I got beef at home. And Blonde Blazer, or should I say Mandy, because he wouldn't even know who the fuck that is.
I'll be patient and I'll show her a phenomenal time with a phenomenal man when she gets back. I was not worried at all about this nigga. I was gonna get him out of the picture one way or another, whether it was violent or not. Shroud would be the least of this town's worries if after today he continued to try and be in the way of me and Blaze's true love, not their little work relationship where she's really only with him by proxy. Like, she doesn't even like him like that. She just sees him when she clocks in every day and he just happens to be the best looking dude. I know ball with this shit, man. Like, I'm telling you, it was my time to shine and I sure did start shining.
And I mean, luckily for me, I didn't even have to be the one to ruin the relationship because A, she was the cheater. She felt guilty. She was a liar. But then she also cut the shit off herself. So, I mean, I thought this was a free lane to the basket. But then episode 4 opened up with that scene in the way that it did. And then now my mind was all scrambled and I didn't know what to do. And before I even touch on that, literally and figuratively, the relationship building up to this point, not only just with Blaze, but with Chase and Beef and just the Z team and Invisigal, like really trying to make a name for herself, you could really feel like the want to do better from like her character specifically. And it was moments like when Invisigal them was taking pictures of her rank. It was moments like this that led me to start moving in the way that I was moving towards the end, because I really felt like she had that goodness in her heart. So when episode 4 started, I could see the potential route we were going, and I knew at this point that I was going to have a fork in the road and I was going to have to either go left or right.
And with that being said, I'm obviously going to do what any sane person would do in this situation and go both directions. Our body's no cell division, so I'm just going to have to scale that up to a higher level. And I mean, pressure makes diamonds. And when put in a predicament like this, failure is not an option. So as I was playing through, I think I said it in the first video, but I said by the end of this playthrough that I will somehow, some way be in a relationship with both of these women, basically. And if that involved a little promiscuity, maybe a little bit of cheating, then nigga, take my Scantron away and invalidate my test.
Cause I'm gonna do it. If I started dating Invis, I was cheating with BB. And vice versa, if I started dating Blonde, Invis would need 2 inhalers by the time me and her are done. That was my mentality here, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I feel like I felt like I was getting corrupted. So I had to, while embarking on these romantic but potentially morally unjust escapades, I had to, of course, make sure I was definitely in check when it came to saving the world and commanding my team. So when we were having that conference meeting and that nigga Gollum stepped out of line by blasting me about 35 feet, of course I sent that metamorphic mammoth outside. You're not gonna disrespect me in front of my team. And I feel like it's situations and decisions that I made like that really helped my relationships blossom at the end of the day. Because me and Big G, he likes to be called that, by the way, just to let y'all boys know, me and Big G, by the end of the story, we're like this with 2 hands. But no, so Invis had her dream and tried confronting me in the men's bathroom,
which obviously didn't work because I need to focus on my main course first before messing with any of my side dishes. But I really think my love was solidified with Blazer when I walked in and she was putting on this blue dress.
Absolutely stunning.
Asking me to zip it up and stuff, with the dress being basically the same hue as her eyes and her it was this whole thing, which kind of reminded me of a story a couple years ago when I was friends, quote unquote, with this girl, hanging out with her consistently. She did have a boyfriend. I may or may not have been developing some sort of crush on her at the time, similarly to Robert here actually, but I was really trying to keep it platonic, and I was just all over the place because I was just coming out of something too.
And as bad as it sounds, we only really hung out when her boyfriend was out of town. And so I don't know if I was like, you know how Tom Aspinall was the interim champion? I don't know if I was subbing in like that to fill a void, but that's besides the point. One day we were hanging out at her place, and not to give away too much information, but let's just say her front area is not petite, right? So I don't remember where we were getting ready to go. She asked me if I could help her button up, you know, those shirts with like the 3 or 4 buttons on the front. She asked me if I could help her button that up. And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't just get these things shipped to you today. You've had like, this is not like new DLC. You probably did this same process not even 12 hours ago. So my innocent mind at the time, I wasn't really trying to look at it as like a hint towards something, because I didn't want to believe that she was the type of woman to do that. And I also knew that I wasn't the type of man to wreck a relationship. Did I button up the shirt? My back was against the wall. I did, but I was very careful with it. Like when Woody was getting stitched up by his maker in Toy Story, and that guy was very precise with it. I was even more professional than him with it. I put on gloves mentally. I had mental gloves on, and with how fast I did that shit, you would have thought I was playing ranked button up. And if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure that's the last time we hung out. Shout out to her though, because I see that she's doing phenomenally well actually. And speaking of phenomenal, after me and Blaze had this little moment, she was asking us to go comfort her ex and tell him everything's all right, which obviously I did the opposite, because fumbling a woman like her, there's nothing all right with that. If I was in his same position, I would send this whole world into chaos. And I'd say probably the hardest decision of this game is when Invis was baiting me into the movie date. And as soon as I put that damn Turtle Beach headset on, I knew that my other chick was about to be hitting my line talking about dinner. And I sat on this decision for about 30 minutes. But looking long term, I feel like if I were to go on this date with Blaze, I would still have a chance with Invis in the future. That's how I was thinking. Let me build my main relationship up and really just get to know her, and my side piece can wait. So of course me and her went to Chili's, or at least that was the plan, but she took me outside, and I love, don't get it twisted, Blonde Blazer's 6 foot plus stallion self. But when she took off that amulet and went from Blonde Blazer to Bodacious Brown, I'm gonna be real, I think I fell in love again. I was in love with 3 women at this point. I was all over the place, y'all. Like even after finishing the game earlier today, based off of some of the decisions I made, I deadass was thinking about it as if the shit had real world implications. Like that's how invested I got into it. And of course I kissed her once she was open with me and showed this secret identity and her real self. And once we had that established, I was a happy man. I was like, I'm in a stable relationship. We're gonna go far, because she really was like just a great girl all around. But Invis started pulling me in the other direction, because she was like putting her life on the line for me. Because after the whole bar thing, after I told everyone that I was Mecha Man, and we continued to build that rapport, I not only was conflicted with Invis, but now, if given the option, I don't know whether I would have maybe even entertained a relationship with Malevolent or with Prism, because the shit Prism's carrying back there is twice the size of Punch Up himself. And I mean, she just had that spunk and charisma to her. I was now thinking if I had the opportunity for either of those women, I'll potentially try talking to them. I was a damn mess. And I didn't know Mel had this like height and just
like she just gets you angry with how bad she is. Just looking at her and looking at what I just want to go with her to the lumber department in Home Depot and cook some shit up in the backyard. Just build a tree house or some shit. Like I just feel like that would be a good time with her, with the beer in my hand, beer in her hand. I don't even like beer. And then she'll be smoking Newports, gives me a kiss, blows the smoke in my mouth. I'm getting way out of line. But like, does she not look like that type of woman? Like that's just that's the type of vibe I'm getting.
Especially when they pull up to my house for this housewarming party. She comes in, cup checking me in my Hanes boxers. And it's like, also I forgot to mention, I could have picked Phenomenon to pick on my team, but I instead chose Waterboy because I didn't want that nigga anywhere near my new Schnookums, because I saw in other clips that he ended up coming to this house party, and that would have been a no-go for me. And I was getting a bit scared because I had both of my girls at one place at the same time, and I thought someone was gonna snitch because I didn't think I was public with B yet. So then after our little dance party and after we're dancing together, Invis kind of saw that, but again, it could have been on some platonic shit. But it's just like I felt bad because not only did she see me and Blonde swaying side to side as they were playing that Prince Royce, but Chase then decided to verbally berate Invisigal because she wanted to go risk her life to go get this Astral Pulse or whatever. I just didn't know what Chase was on. It might have been the old age. So when she hit that nigga with the fake out and socked him in his face, and then Blaze went to go comfort him and help him up, since she gave me the kiss on the cheek, basically soft launching us, I wasn't really appreciative of that because we didn't talk about this, at least on camera. So I was very distraught because now I thought the word was going to get out, and I just didn't want it to get out yet because, you know, I had my, like I was trying to get visits to you. So that scared me a little bit because we see Vizzy go put her life on the line, reverse jump for this Astral Pulse, and like this is the reason why now my mind's telling me one thing, heart's telling me another. And we see Shroud's sneaker as she was getting out. She can't get her inhaler. I'm thinking it's GG's for her. And then quite possibly the hardest shot in the show when Chase says, keep up and move out of there. Oh gosh, that was good. I thought he was done, especially when they showed that flashback at the beginning. And it's like, you see, I've been teeter-tottering between Blonde Blazer and Invis. But when we got to that scene where she reveals herself as a double agent, like when I got the opportunity to make amends with her and she pushed me up against that locker, kind of assaulted me. When I saw that option pop up to lean in, boy, fucking but let me tell you, I felt dirty, I felt rotten, I felt filthy afterwards. I dead ass felt like after me and her went crazy, because I really felt like I cheated on someone. And from that point on, it was just straight action. When I was at that bar and the bartender with the eyes looking both east and west was talking shit and that other dude blasted him in the head, I had a feeling that was Shroud. Incognito, or Cognito, I guess, since he was basically out in the open. But I really thought his identity was going to be someone like we knew for real though. But after he had me captured and I spit on myself, I thought all hope was lost. But when I saw my baby and my honey pie, who I would never cheat on because I'm a loyal ass boyfriend, when I saw her bust open that door, no one even raising a weapon, just everyone looking at her with fear and shock in their eyes, I deadass think Robert got bricked upside down. And this might have been my favorite moment of the whole ass game, because when she was talking her shit, saying that this place was going to be surrounded in T-minus 5 minutes unless they skedaddle, and we hear Poop say this bogus.
Now, hey mom, she's fucking bluffing.
Shut the fuck up. Kill her.
You knew that she was the right person to cut off that team.
Because after she said that, with the way Shroud looked at her, he looked like he was just about to halt operations and go back to the drawing board with this shit. Because what she said irritated him so much that he had to apologize on her behalf for how trash she was.
I bet she's 0 for 4 on jobs for this nigga too.
And a lot goes on from then. My sugar plum saves my life. We go to the billboard, share another moment similar to episode 1, just talking about our future together and just how we both really appreciate how rock solid our relationship is, considering everything going on in the outside world and how there's really no cracks in it. So that was a beautiful scene. And then there was some conflict with Maui and Invisigal, and I had to decide whether or not she was an op or not. And then I went obviously the route that she wasn't, because again, I felt that goodness in her heart. But lastly, I mainly wanted to talk about this final jumping, where it felt like they were just boxing for about 30 minutes until Blazer got smacked up like 75 feet and I almost jumped to the screen to go and save her because I thought she was about to lose her life. But then as our backs were against the wall, then that's when we saw that she gave the amulet to Chase. He made his comeback. It was his big thing.
He's looking as swaggy as ever with the new hairstyle, the shades on the face. That nigga was cold. But when we had that man backed into a corner and he had beef under his left arm and he snitched on me in front of everyone, that was one of them. Like, I really felt the consequences for my actions in that moment.
Cause that nigga straight up embarrassed me and he was being real, talking about some.
Oh, Robert, there he is. So predictable. So, dare I say, unloyal. I knew this little sack of meat would be your weakness, but I also knew you'd have feelings for Blazer. But who, to be frank with you, Rob, I'm more of a blonde guy. I prefer her as blonde, and I like that though. I like being the little spoon, if given the opportunity with her. But to each their own, bitch. And it really is crazy that you are the only man that could be with Blonde Blazer, let her reveal her true, authentic self to you, and still want more. This is more than an unholy amount of greed, Robert. Do you realize how good you've got it? There are men who would die to be in your position. Me being one of them. Either girl, I don't give a fuck. And you have the audacity to cheat on the Blonde Blazer with a double-crossing, evil, asthma-having, invisibitch. Are we serious? You can't have your cake and eat it too, Rob. I mean, who is the real villain here, man? Think about it. I may be holding your dog hostage, and I may have just slimed. I lost count. I may have just slimed that many people out. But if I got a shotty as loyal and angelic as Blaze, I would never do her wrong like you did. You greedy piece of shit. 618-227-8149. If there's anyone in that crowd down there, specifically brunette, preferably blonde with blue eyes, that needs someone to confide in, my line is open for the rest of the week.
So he exposed me like that, and I was dumbfounded because I really felt like I was on like a high-speed chase. My car broke down. I started running, hopped over the fence, but then eventually, because they got helicopters in the sky and stuff, I just got surrounded by every angle, and there was no escaping this one. Because I also had to focus on the mission at hand. I couldn't even defend myself and say he was lying, because it's like I may have to take his life momentarily. So that's what I was getting ready to do. And when I started violently piecing him up after I made the transaction for my dog, and he shot, I guess, my main girl now, I had to spare him, which I feel like turned out good for everyone in the end. I feel like that was the best route, because Invis, she was now regarded as a true hero. I was getting the praise for like saving the day, and then we ended up taking him to Impel Down. I'm especially happy that Poop got locked away for good. Keep her there. She serves her time, serve it again. She needs to be cooped up. There we go. It's in the name. I mean, this is her calling. Prison. She cannot be on my team. She could be catching Z's in a fucking cell. That's the only Z that she's getting involved with. I'm not doing with Coop, man. And I mean, at the end, Invis gives me that kiss on my hunker. I'm thinking the throuple is about to blossom with me, her, and Bodacious Brown. But I guess we break up in a very mature way, and it kind of caught me off guard. And once we did that, that's when I was like, damn, I feel terrible. I shouldn't have done this, and I should have stayed with her. Because if this was a real life situation, I'm Robert, I would never cheat on that. I would so be going with Blonde. But no, I mean, overall, there was obviously a lot more to the game, but I just wanted to make a quick little video on it because I really did enjoy it, and I felt like if I wanted to start talking games on this channel as well, this would be a great place to start. And if y'all want to see the full playthrough, it's on the second channel. Rating, I'd give this shit a 10. I really got invested into it, man. This was a great time. And if y'all have any suggestions for the second channel for games like this, I feel like this is really where I have, at least right now, I really have a lot of fun when it comes to recording these types of games where the decisions actually matter, and like there's the romances and all that stuff. I don't know, but that was a good time. And I mean, Stranger Things video, I'm gonna try to get it out before season 5 comes out, so y'all just stay tuned for that. I appreciate it. The consistent viewership and the consistent support on the videos, and road to 200k, road to a milli, actually. Let's do that, road to a milli, and road to 10k on the second channel. So I appreciate y'all boys, and catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.